Well, I'm joined here by Scot McHale, and he's a Year 3/4 teacher at Horbury Bridge. And Scott's been extensively using our App Camp product. And I've asked Scott just to share some of his ideas, reflections, and thoughts about the product, and also to think about how his class have responded. Scott has been instrumental in the development of the product. Myself and Scott have taught lessons together, worked with young people to refine the software before we launched it, and to add additional features and to develop it. So it's a real privilege to work with Scott. So, Scott, how are you?
I'm fine. Nice to be here. Thanks to you.
We were talking about the types of activities that we did with the kids. I wonder if you could just take us through maybe one of the activities. Give us an overview of what the activity was.
Well, we started off with looking at our topic, which was World War II. Craig came in and he posed a real-life problem that the Imperial War Museum wanted an application built for them. So the children had a real purpose for what they wanted to do. They then went off and located their images, and from the knowledge that they've done previously, they then started off by creating a very, very simple application. They used their pre-existing knowledge in order to build an overview to start with, and they were designing their own pages. They were allowed to put in their own images, really make it their own. But it was that real-life problem that really, really put it into context for the children. We're very excited to do it.
It's really great. It was lovely to come in and sort of see all the work that you'd done already on the World War, and then to use the app almost as like an assessment, a summing up of the topic, and then for the young people to be able to select those images and resources that we put into the shared drive and bring them together in an app. There's quite a lot of thinking around the design of the app and the structuring of it, wasn't there?
Well, yes, it took all their pre-existing knowledge of things that they could already do, and it amalgamated it into one final product, which was great. They already could create documents and things like that, but to then put it into a systematic chronological order, into an order that they believed was critical, and to show how much they'd actually learned through the topic in such an innovative way. It really, really did bring out the best in them, and they were so excited to do it. We could have gotten to write an essay, but there was no enthusiasm for things like that. But something as creative and as innovative as making an app is something that they've never experienced before, and it captured them perfectly.
There was some really lovely moments, wasn't there, when we got to the end of the lesson in the plenary and we were talking about the outcomes of the activity, and they were able to actually see the app that they'd created.
Well, that was one of the main benefits. The fact that they knew that potentially they could have an app on the App Store. Anyone could download it. They could make money from it. They were very excited to create the best potential that they could. Even if that wasn't the case and it wasn't produced, the idea that they could then share a link with their mums or dads or friends, and then they could view it in real time was phenomenal. The enthusiasm that they had for that was just like nothing I've seen before. It was great.
Oh, that's great, and we brought in some stickers, didn't we? Great designer and app designer and HTML coder and things like that, didn't we?
Well, that's it. It's the positive reinforcement that we've got, not just through the on-screen encouragement, but through walking around, seeing what they were doing and taking an active interest, putting on the stickers. Something as simple as a sticker really, really, really made them enthusiastic about doing what they were doing. It was great.
And we sort of touched as well, even though they were Year 4 and 5, we touched on HTML coding, didn't we? Do you want to just give us a sort of flavour for how that went, in your opinion?
Yeah, well, with the new computing curriculum, very heavily based around the coding element and the debugging, it's quite hard to get them into that sort of area. Now, what the App Camp did was it enabled me to do the coding and the debugging element by adding in HTML, like making things bold, or as simple as underlining something, and seeing their faces once they've found out how to use codes to turn anything bold or underline it, or to make the font bigger, or to add a paragraph. These are things that are relatively simple to us, but to those, it really did change the fact that they were so proud they could make their title bold or underlined, and it really did add the educational elements that we really need to be covering at the moment.
I think I'm really proud of the way that we've developed the product together that allowed young people to use HTML coding, but also to access simple drag and drop functionality. It just means that you don't have to spend a full hour coding. You can actually mix and match some quite simple graphic and design elements, which are simply drag and drop, with some more challenging HTML coding. So I'm quite pleased with the way that the product turned out, and again, that's around the support that you've provided and the young people, their ideas as well. So I'm really pleased with that.
It was great to see the two sides of the app, the basic, the drag and drop, where you can put in what you want, so you can add your images quite manually, or the HTML editing section on the same screen, and they can flick between the two if they want to. For the more able, could just do it in HTML, and it was an ingenious part of adding it. It really pushed the ones that really needed pushing.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I don't know if you know, I think I might have shared this in one of the lessons, but the UK is the second largest app development market in the world. So there's more apps being developed here than in most countries around the world, apart from America. And that's been growing every year by 20 or 30%, which is exponential growth, really. So clearly, software design, app design, computing is very much part of our economy. How do you feel that this product may set your children up for the future?
Well, with all the jobs that are going for web designers, coders at the moment, and with hardly any of them getting filled, it really gives them a step up that they need. Even an introduction to something as basic as HTML really gets their minds thinking later to be writing JavaScript or Python, things that are completely different. It gets them on the first stepping stone. And to be able to see what they're doing and then go back and debug right there is such a crucial thing for them to learn. And the HTML added that.
It's a nice feature of the platform where you can code here and see the outcome of your code here. So it's very instant, isn't it, in terms of the feedback for the young people. If they've got it wrong, they'll know they've got it wrong, and it's the self-checking that they need to make those changes until they get it right. So I'm quite proud, by the way, that worked out in the system, because that did feel really well, like it was really well received by the young people. Can you just finally, before you go, could you just talk to me about your plans for the future? I mean, what sort of topics might you be looking at delivering through the app, or maybe using the app as a teacher, as a resource for students? Where do you think you might go in the future with this?
Well, there's two parts to this. My first one was, my next topic is tutors. Now, it could be used in the way that I think would be the easiest. It could be done as at the end as an assessment tool. They can then put in everything that they already know that we've learned throughout the entire term into one. Now, that could take 3 or 4 afternoons, and that would be a nice little treat. However, I think the most powerful is to do it as we go. Every new part of the topic that I could potentially teach, they could make a recap of it. So as opposed to doing one giant amalgamation at the end, half an hour a week, an hour a week, or even every fortnight would really show what they've learnt and keep those skills up and going, because that's what they really want. By doing it at the end of the term, they could potentially forget the HTML, but dropping it in half an hour a week, it's not a big ask. It's very easy app to use. The children can do it almost without aid once you've showed them how to do it, and it really keeps those skills going. And potentially, you can then use that as a printout at the end, and you can assess what they've done week by week, as opposed to sitting down and doing it for 3-4 hours once. It's a powerful tool.
So you're almost using it like a digital exercise book there, keeping
that's exactly what I'm going to use it as.
Yeah.
That for me is great. Now, what I could also do is, because we've just rolled out the new iPads in school, we've got 30 iPads in such a small school, and it's a fantastic resource to use. I was thinking about, for a new part of the topic, to make my own app and then pin it to their desktop, so they could literally click on it, read the bit where I want them to teach them today, and then even when I've spoken it or already done it, they can go back and read it. So it really gets the visual learners as well as the ones that just sit there and listen, so that they can go back over it as many times as they want. The possibilities of this are only limited by my own imagination, so it is really just thinking about new and innovative ways to use this product.
And it's great, as you said, it's that multi-sensory element that will just support different learning styles and engage young people in a very different way. So that work with the iPad sounds really exciting. I'd love to be part of that. I'd love to come and join you. Well, look, thank you, Scott, for trialling the product, for helping with the development. Horbury Bridge have been a real co-development partner for us, because you're one of those schools that's just out there on the edge, and you're trialling and testing new things and really putting these types of pieces of software through their paces, and that's challenging sometimes, because sometimes you have to push things to the limit and then you have to give that feedback to make that better. But I really appreciate the fact that your school is an innovative partner and has supported us with this product development. So thank you very much. Really excited about what the future holds, and thank you for your time today as well, Scott.
That's no problem at all.
Take care. Thank you.